Hi everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian with the Twin Lakes Libraries and I use they, them pronouns. For today's episode, I am going to be talking to you all about the Star Wars books in our collection. That is because this upcoming Wednesday is May the 4th, which in Star Wars fandom means it's Star Wars Day. So May the 4th is kind of like a play on May the Force be with you, so May the 4th be with you. And yeah, it's kind of a big thing in the Star Wars community, fandom, and I just wanted to, highlight the books that we have and then also talk about some of my favorite sci-fi series that I've been reading. So real quick, we have quite a few graphic novels in our young adult collection. Some of them are kind of like older, older series, but I just want to pick out a couple of newer ones that we have. So we have this series about Darth Vader. I haven't read it yet, but I do really like the people who are writing this series. So we also have this one, Dr. Aphra. Have not read this one either, but these are both ones that are pretty well known and popular, so if you're a Star Wars fan, check them out. They're both rated T for teen. And then we have a couple books. Some of them are checked out right now, but these are the ones that we had on the shelf. We have this one, Queen's Peril by E.K. Johnston, who writes several books for young adults within the Star Wars fandom. So this is just one of them. She's got others out there, and of course it is about Padme and let's see, I think it starts out when she is 14 and wins the election for Queen of Naboo. She takes the name Amidala and leaves her family behind to rule from the royal palace in the capital of Theed. At a time of brewing uncertainty for Naboo and the Galactic Republic, she and her security advisor, Captain Panaka, devise a plan for the Queen's safety, the recruitment of multiple handmaidens. These handmaidens will be her aides, confidants, protectors, and even decoys. Each young woman is selected by Panaka for her particular talents, but it is up to Padme to unite them as a group. Different though they may be, the handmaidens learn to work together in service of the one goal they all share, to protect the Queen at all cost. But when their peaceful world is invaded by the ambitious Trade Federation, Queen Amidala and her brave handmaidens will face the greatest test of themselves and each other. And then we have Most Wanted by Rae Carson. It vividly portrays an early adventure of Han and Qi'ra's set before the events of the hit film Solo, a Star Wars story. So, those are some books. And yeah, I'm not the biggest into Star Wars. So I've seen, I think most of the movies, definitely all of the newer movies, and then I've been watching The Mandalorian, which I really love, and so that's kind of my Star Wars experience. But if you're a super fan and you want to really get into some different media, then we've got these books and graphic novels you can check out, and I'll have some links as well as far as things that we have digitally, on Hoopla and Libby. And then just wanted to highlight some sci-fi books I really love, and I've probably maybe talked about some of these before. We've got Crownchasers. This is a 2-book series. So I'm just going to read the little jacket summary for you. Alyssa Farshot has spent her whole life trying to outrun her family legacy. Her mother sacrificed everything to bring peace to the galaxy, and her uncle has successfully ruled as emperor for decades. The last thing Alyssa wants is to follow in their footsteps as the next in line for the throne. Why would she choose to be trapped in a palace when she could be having wild adventures exploring 1,001 planets in her own ship? But when Alyssa's uncle becomes gravely ill, his dying wish surprises everyone. Instead of naming her as his successor, he calls for a crown chase, the first in 7 centuries. Representatives from each of the prime families, including Alyssa, are thrown into a race to find the royal seal, which has been hidden somewhere in the empire. The first to find the seal wins the throne. Alyssa's experience as an explorer makes her the favorite to win the crown she never wanted. And though she doesn't want to be empress, her duty to her uncle compels her to participate to preserve his legacy. But when the chase turns deadly, it's clear that more than just the fate of the empire is at stake. Alyssa is on her most important quest yet, and only time will tell if she will survive it. So I really enjoyed this one. And I need to read the second one, but we have them both in our collection. So. Then, Honor Among Thieves. This is a trilogy, one of my favorites. So, Zara Cole has been in and out of New Detroit's rehab facilities for treatment of her antisocial behavior. There's no adjusting Zara's attitude, though. A painful past has made her stronger than most, which is why she chose life in the zone instead of moving with her family to Mars. In her eyes, living inside a dome isn't much better than a prison cell. Still, when Zara commits a crime that has her running scared, jail might be exactly where she's headed. Instead, Zara is recruited into the Honors, an elite team of humans selected by the Leviathan, a race of sentient alien ships, to explore the outer reaches of the universe as their passengers. Zara seizes the chance to flee Earth's dangers, but when she meets Nadim, the alien ship she's assigned to, along with fellow Honor Beatrice, Zara starts to feel at home for the first time, along with a devotion she's never experienced before. Yet nothing, not her honors training or her street smarts, could have prepared her for the dark, ominous truths that lurk behind the alluring glitter of starlight. So this series, I really love it a lot, and I think, if you like Star Wars, you'd probably like it, because you've got this Zara and, like, the other honors, like, going out and, like, exploring the galaxy. There's definitely some scenes that remind me of, like, some of my favorite parts in Star Wars, like, where they're going to, like, the cantina or whatever. They've got to go to some galactic black market and track down people and items and all kinds of stuff. There's lots of action, big threats to the universe, all that kind of stuff, and also a really great love story that's really unique, and I was like, wow, did not see this coming. I love it. So yeah, it's great, and I love the sentient ships. Nadim is the ship in this one, and it's just really cool. So, highly recommend. Skyward, I am still reading this series. I've read the first 2 books, and then the third one, we recently just got it, so I'm looking forward to reading it. And then there's going to be more after this. Spence's world has been under attack for decades. Now, pilots are the heroes of what's left of the human race, and becoming one has always been Spence's dream. Since she was a little girl, she has imagined soaring skyward and proving her bravery. But her fate is intertwined with her father's, a pilot himself who was killed years ago when he abruptly deserted his team, leaving Spencer the daughter of a coward, her chances of attending flight school slim to none. No one will let Spencer forget what her father did, yet fate works in mysterious ways. Flight school might be a long shot, but she is determined to fly, and an accidental discovery in a long-forgotten cavern might just provide her a way to claim the stars. So much happens in this book, and especially in book 2. Like, book one, you kind of think you know what's what, and then, major plot twist, and you're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So really good. And also, I love Brandon Sanderson's books. If you haven't read him before, he writes a lot. And anyways, this one's a really great sci-fi story. So a couple more. Bonds of Brass. So this is the Blood Right Trilogy. And the third book comes out fairly soon, I believe. So, okay. A young pilot risks everything to save his best friend, the man he trusts most and might even love, only to learn that his friend is secretly the heir to a brutal galactic empire. So that's kind of like the little paragraph pitch, without going too much into it, but it's definitely one that I was like, oh my gosh, that whole thing is like throughout, it's kind of like you think you know somebody and you're best friends and like everything, and then it's just like finding out all these truths and revelations as the story goes on. It's wild. But yes, there's lots of action and, like hiding out and trying to, I don't know, there's a lot happening in this story, so I'm like, I can't even describe, but it's really, really well done, and I'm really excited to see how it ends up, because I have no idea at this point. And then last of all, we have the Illuminae Files. This is a 3-book series, and the authors of this also have been writing another trilogy. I think it's Aurora Rising. Let me just look that up really quick, which we also have. Let's see. The Aurora Rising is the first book in the Aurora cycle. So if you've read that series, this is another by them. So these books always look intimidating and large, but what I love about them is they are just have all different kinds of formats. It almost feels like a multimedia type book. You've got emails, you've got transcripts, you've got these graphics going on with the words. I love that. It was probably like my favorite thing. I know they have audiobooks, which I'm not sure how this interprets into an audiobook, but that'd be interesting. So, let me just read you the description. This morning, Caddy thought breaking up with Ezra was the hardest thing she'd have to do today. This afternoon, her planet was invaded. The year is 2575, and 2 rival megacorporations, blank and blank, are at war over a planet that's little more than an ice-covered speck at the edge of the universe. Too bad nobody thought to warn the people living on it. With enemy fire raining down on them, exes Caddy and Ezra, who are barely even talking to each other, are forced to fight their way onto the evacuating fleet with an enemy warship in hot pursuit. But the warship is the least of their problems. A deadly blank has broken out and is mutating, and with terrifying results. The fleet's AI, which should be protecting them, may actually be their enemy, and nobody in charge will say what the blank is going on. As Caddy hacks into a tangled web of data to find the truth, it's clear only one person can help her bring it all to light, the ex-boyfriend she swore she'd never speak to again. So yeah, different words in here are like redacted, so if you're like, why is Dabney saying blank? That's why. So yeah, I would, if you kind of want like a really different storytelling format, that's like a fast-paced, very engaging, I would check this out. And each book follows different characters, so like 2 different main characters for each book, but it's like all their stories are tied in together, which I really like. So yeah, those are some sci-fi book recommendations, and I hope y'all have a awesome May the 4th. And please try and come by the library and do some crafts with us, or you can watch our Wednesday craft video when it goes live and get a take-home craft, because it will, of course, be Star Wars themed. So yeah, that is all for this episode. Next time we'll be coming back to talk about Asian American and Pacific Islander authors and books. So tune back in 2 weeks for that. All right, I'll see y'all next time. Bye.